In this video, we are going to look at various strategies which liquidity providers can use while adding liquidity into Uniswap V3. Before we look at those strategies, we'll first try to understand some of the basics. That is, what do we mean by a strategy and why is it needed? Next, we'll look at all the different strategies which liquidity providers can use while adding their liquidity. And then we'll discuss each of these strategies in detail and look at the pros and cons of each of these. So let's get started. Whenever you're using your money to work for you, that means you're investing, there are a few important things that you need to be clear. It's these are general things, these are not dependent upon Uniswap V3 or blockchain, right? So first thing you need to see is what is your risk appetite, right? Like, do you want to invest into more riskier things? Because the more riskier it gets, you can expect more profits also. And then what is the percentage of funds do you want to invest? Is it like 100% of your savings? Are you investing them? Is it 50%, 10%, 2%? So what type of investment to choose depends upon how much percentage are you investing. Then are you investing for long or for a short term? These are very high level factors which influence how exactly you should be investing and where you should be investing your funds. Answers to these basic investment questions would be different from one individual to other, primarily because of their risk appetite or like current situation, right? For there's some people who might want to take more risk and want to have a higher upside. At the same time, there would be people who want to take lesser risk or no risk, and they're okay with no upside or something like that. So the strategy of choice depends upon the current situation and the goal which an individual wants to achieve. So strategy in the case of a higher risk would be completely different versus a strategy in which you want to have no or minimal risk. So there's some very high level questions which everyone, whoever is providing liquidity in V3 version, they are faced with, which is what strategy should they use, right? Should they hold on to the assets? Should they provide liquidity, which is better? Which pool should they provide liquidity to, right? What is the fee percentage they should choose? Which assets they should choose to provide liquidity? Should they use stable coins? Should they use like very volatile assets or like relatively stable assets and all? So should they provide liquidity over a narrow range or a wide range? And next is, a lot of times the liquidity which is provided by liquidity providers could be out of range, right? In that case, should they rebalance? And like whatever fees they are collecting, should it be compounded also or not with time? And then should one be focused towards earning more fees or towards optimizing impermanent loss, means having less impermanent loss? So when you try to answer all of these questions, it'll start making clear that which strategy you should use. So here are some of the basic strategies which liquidity providers can use while they add liquidity into Uniswap V3. On the left are the less riskier ones, but which have limited upside. On the right, they are a bit more riskier, but they have more upside. Let's start from the extreme left. The extreme left is holding on to the stable coins. So this has minimal upside, like almost no upside, and minimal risk, right? The only risk is that the stable coins can get depegged, but apart from that, there is minimal risk. And the upside is because the money is parked there, you're not earning any money from it, right? Other way is you can also add stable coins into Uniswap V3, where you at least earn the fees from Uniswap, right? But there is another added risk in that, because which is the smart contract risk and all, which every DeFi platform has. And the next is, suppose you have two tokens, like a token pair, you can hold on 50-50 of both the assets, right? Which is uh, a bit more riskier because like the token prices change and all, right? Instead of stable coins, you're holding on to like maybe 50% stable coins and 50% of some asset. Could be Ether, could be Uniswap, or could be anything, right? Any other token, or could be altcoins. So a bit more upside, right? A bit more riskier, 50-50, right? And then other is you're holding on to 100% of the assets which can change in price, like Ethereum, Optimism, Uniswap, Aave, Compound, any of those, right? More upside because 100% of the assets are there, right? As the value increases, you get 100% of the upside, but if the value decreases also, you get like there is risk of that losing your like assets and all, right? Like not assets but the value. And then when we go to the right, there is more upside. You're providing liquidity in a wider range. The upside is that you earn from the fees also, which people use when they swap and all. Whatever fees is there, you would earn some part of the fees, right? So if you provide over a wider range, they are like your exposure to impermanent loss is less. So less riskier as compared to other strategies, but still you have exposure to impermanent loss, but you're also making fees, right? The swap fees. And then going further right, which is you're adding liquidity over even on a narrower range where capital efficiency is more, your APY percentage would be more, but then you will have more exposure to impermanent loss. And going to the extreme right, which is you're providing liquidity with highly volatile assets. The benefit of having volatile assets and providing liquidity is normally they would fall under 1% swap fee, and like the amount of fees you'll gain would be more, but also your exposure to impermanent loss would be a lot more, right? So the strategy which you need to choose for yourself depends upon your personal situation, how much amount you want to invest, what is your risk appetite, what are your goals. So not one strategy fits everyone. It is you have to choose your own strategy which is best applicable to you.